Returned from injury to lead the Houston Gamblers in the first round of the 1985 USFL playoffs. Kelly's presence and ability seem essential for the Gamblers' run-and-shoot offense. The core of fleet receivers. The big play, which is the essence of this football offense. Kelly has not played in 4 weeks. Waiting the Birmingham Stallions defense, best in the USFL. Free safety Chuck Clanton. 16 interceptions, a league record. It is a defense that is relentless and mauls quarterbacks. Birmingham's offense, triggered by quarterback Cliff Stout and veteran wide receiver Jim Smith, who caught 20 touchdown passes this season. And running back Joe Cribbs back to form with another 1,000-yard season. The Gamblers and the Stallions, as ABC Sports presents quarterfinal action in the 1985 USFL playoffs. This matchup from out of the Western Conference, the Houston Gamblers against the Eastern Conference champion Birmingham Stallions. It is a typical summer day in the city of Birmingham, Alabama. We are at Legion Field. The temperature is around 80 degrees. The humidity is quite pronounced, 72%. Down on the field, the temperature will surely be more than 90 degrees today, and I am sure it will wear some on the people playing the game. The Birmingham Stallions won the right to be a host team in this quarterfinal round, finishing the season with a 13-5 record. The Houston Gamblers coming in here with a 10-8 record, and they had to struggle some in the late going in order to make the playoffs. This is the way they finished in the respective conferences. Out in the West, 3 teams qualified for the playoff round. Oakland, the best record in the league, followed by Denver and Houston, whereas 5 teams qualified out of the Eastern Conference. Birmingham winning the conference championship, followed by New Jersey, Memphis, Baltimore, and Tampa Bay. The structure for the playoffs was simply the 8 best records regardless of conference, and here are the matchups. Today, Houston is here in Birmingham. Tomorrow, 2 games. Tampa Bay will be at Oakland, and we will have that game for you at 2:30 Eastern Time tomorrow here on ABC. And we will have bonus coverage for you from the Denver-Memphis game that'll be played tomorrow in the Liberty Bowl. Al Trotwig will have the reports on that game for you. And then Monday, Baltimore is at New Jersey. They can't play there tomorrow because of the Grand Prix that's being run in the parking lot at the Meadowlands. And we'll have reports from the Baltimore-New Jersey game for you Monday during ABC's presentation of Monday Night Major League Baseball. Now let us turn to talk about these 2 football teams and the kind of emotion that goes on in playoffs. And I spent about 2 hours this morning watching some film of times past in which a brilliant wide receiver wearing number 88 was most entertaining. So you've been to the wars, Lynn Swan. What is it like to get ready for a playoff?
Well, first you have a lot of nervous energy because you know it's no longer the best record. It's 1 game. Your backs are up against the wall. You either win and you go on, or you lose and you go home and watch like everyone else. So there's a lot of tension. You have to come out and play your best football game. You bring it up a notch. You get into the playoff, everything increases. The intensity, how much you want the ball game, the execution of the play, and also the physicalness of the football game.
So this, if there is something to that old cliche, you play with pain, this is the time you do it, or else it's over.
I think so, and it may be also one of the reasons why Jim Kelly is going to play in this ball game this afternoon.
Well, let's talk about the Gamblers. Their circumstance is very unsettling. They haven't been paid for the final game of the regular season as yet. There is talk the team is going to be moved, and Chicago seems the logical place they might go. I can't forecast that because I simply don't know. But it is not a positive atmosphere that travels right now with the Houston Gamblers.
No, it's not, and I think it worked against them in their last regular season game against Oakland. Not a good game for that offensive unit. The good news, however, this week is that because it's a playoff game, the league is responsible for paying the players.
They'll get that.
So I think they'll get that. For the Gamblers, You know, a lot can be said about Jim Kelly, but I think you really have to concentrate on the people he's throwing the ball to. He has 3 receivers who have gained over 1,000 yards in the season. Their number 1 receiver, Richard Johnson, caught over 100 passes for the 2nd consecutive year, and he's a tough little guy to bring down. Blazing speed. They all run 4.4 or faster in the 40-yard dash. So Kelly, if he's got one man that's covered, he can look across the field and pick up another speed burner who is going to be open.
Kelly has not played in 4 weeks now, yet he said that he felt good, and we are going to talk with him just as soon as he has finished the handshake routine and the coin flip out of the center of the field with the referee, Burl Sorgan. But my question about this whole thing now is you've gone with Dillon for 4 weeks, and I thought Todd had played quite well. Actually, they won 1 of 4 games, but despite that, I thought he played well. Do you feel that it's a disruptive thing to all of a sudden change quarterbacks one more time?
No, I really don't, because I think Jim Kelly has the confidence of his entire team. I think the receivers have dropped a couple of passes that they normally would have caught for Jim Kelly that they did not catch for Todd Dillon. Now, there was a similar circumstance that I was privy to see firsthand in Pittsburgh between Cliff Stout, the man we're going to see for Birmingham, and Terry Bradshaw. Now, I'll give you some of the parallels between those 2 quarterbacks and what they faced.
But right now, let's go to Tim Brandt as he stands and talks with Jim Kelly, ready to come back.
All right, Keith, and the obvious question right off the bat, Jim, is how healthy is that knee?
Well, I think it's 100%. If it wasn't 100%, I wouldn't be out there today.
You don't feel like you're rushing the rehabilitation or risking your career?
No, not at all. I'll tell you what, I've been paid to play. I love to play football, and that's why I'm out here.
It's been said that the rest has actually healed some of the bumps and bruises and put even more life in that arm.
Definitely has. I feel it has. I've had a good week of practice. The whole team has. I just hope it carries off into this game.
One question that really has to be asked, it's been well documented about the Czech situation not coming last week. What does that do to your team mentally?
I'll tell you what, we have to play this game here, and I don't think too many people are worrying about that right now. Jerry Argus has always been good to us, and paychecks to be there. One thing we all planned at the beginning of the season, win the championship, and we're the playoffs, and that's what counts right now.
Good luck today, Jim.
Thank you.
All right, Keith.
Well, Jim Kelly, who's another one of those young men who's come out of the Valley of Quarterbacks in western Pennsylvania. Now about the Birmingham Stallions versus the Houston defense. And the Houston defense at times has been a little permissive. And Birmingham is a ball club that will beat your brains out unless you really put some heat on it.
They will, because they have such great balance. Joe Cribbs, for the 5th time in his 6-year career, has rushed for over 1,000 yards. Jim Smith, great season. 20 touchdown receptions on the year and over 1,000 yards. And of course, Cliff Stout has been the catalyst for all of this. He's played just phenomenal.
Now let's go to Tim Brandt as he talks with Coach Raleigh Dutch of the Stallions.
You've got that active defense, Raleigh. When you get to the playoffs, that word defense seems to get even larger. Now, Jim Kelly starts. What does that do to you in your preparation in today's game?
Well, Tim, it's not going to change anything. We got a game plan. We're going to have to execute it, whether Kelly or Dillon or Threadgill's in there. Kelly's a great quarterback, great touch on the ball. He throws the long ball well. So we're going to stick with our game plan regardless of who's in there and hope that it's good enough to win.
Of course, they send all those receivers. They love that run and shoot, which will test the defense and spread it out. But when you look at their receivers and analyze their strengths and weaknesses, number 22, Richard Johnson, really seems to stick out. He's the guy with the most catches.
Well, that's true. We're going to try to do something to take away, at least minimize his effect. And hopefully our offense can possess the ball, score some points.
All right, Raleigh, good luck today.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, Keith.
All right, and we go with Birmingham having won the toss. They will receive the football, so we'll see them going to work in the first possession. They started very tentatively last week against New Jersey. The New Jersey defensive people might be judged to be a little more physical than Houston. The kickoff is picked up by Thad McFadden, the Wisconsin rookie, and he cuts it back into the open. Look out! McFadden hit the sidelines at the 49-yard line of Houston, and there was one thing there that Jack Pardee did not want to happen. A 48-yard return. They'll take the football on the Houston side of the field, and Cliff Stout will come out and get them going as we see McFadden almost break this one all the way.
McFadden had some problems handling a punt last week against New Jersey Generals. Raleigh Dodge has told me he thinks he can be one of the best receivers on this football team as soon as he comes around. What we got a chance to see there was his ability to pick out the hole in the open field.
Cliff Stout sets at quarterback with Cribbs and Coles behind him and puts Joey Jones in motion and give it to Joe Cribbs. And Cribbs from the 49 down across the 45. Setting the offense for you now. Stout, of course, the veteran with the Steelers, was there 7 years, didn't play a whole lot. from Youngstown State. Joe Cribbs out of Auburn, back at home. Joel Coles out of Penn State. Wide people are Jim Smith and Joey Jones, and Darrell Mason is the tight end. McKinley, Turner, Battaglia, Saindon, Phoenix, and we will see Buddy Adelette going back into the offensive front today for the Birmingham Stallions. There was a gain of 5 yards on the carry by Cribbs, and Paul Otkaruth now lines up in the I-back position and backs the pass is Stout. He looks deep, goes short, just beyond the marker. Pass caught. Joel Cole swinging out of the backfield, and it's a first down for the Birmingham Stallions. The defensive alignment for the Houston Gamblers goes this way. Ross Browner, having come over from the NFL, Tony Fitzpatrick, Hosea Taylor, and Pete Caton, and they are very, very, very important. The Hawkins brothers and Kiki Diala at linebacker, and Mitchell, Rockmore, Bradley, and Lewis, the defensive secondary, but they're going to have to get some pressure on Cliff Stout before this ball game is over. Ken Kohler goes in motion. Ole Miss. Wide receiver, and Coles carrying the ball is slowed down behind the line of scrimmage. The penetration coming by Pete Caton out of Easton, Illinois, 6'2", 240, at his previous pro experience with Winnipeg in the Canadian Football League.
And his play on the defensive line is going to be a key for the Houston Gamblers if they are going to have any success. He's going to have to continue to penetrate as he just did there on the running play, stop them from getting upfield, and also supply the bulk of the pass rush on Cliff Stout.
Joe Cribbs is back in. Cribbs has it on a delay. Big hole. They blew them away. And Cribbs is inside the 30 and down near the 26, and another first down for the Birmingham Stallions. Mike Mitchell saved the touchdown.
And that was a real tough tackle by Mike Mitchell. Joe Cribbs is coming inside. Looked like he was going to stay there. Mike Mitchell finally starts to move inside, and Joe gives him a little move, almost got around him to the sideline, and if he had, he would have picked up a block by Jim Smith, and it would have been the first 6 points of the ball game.
Ball is setting just inside the 22 of Houston. First down for the Stallions, the opening possession of the ball game at Legion Field in Birmingham. This is Joel Cole, and Cole slanting. Nothing fancy, just bang down to the 22.
Raleigh's game plan, Keith, to come out with a victory here is to possess the football. His team has possessed the football an average of 32 minutes and 11 seconds for the season. That leads the USFL. But when he possesses the football, he has to come away with a lot of points. There you see Jack Pardee, the head coach of the Houston Gamblers, and he realizes the pressure now is on the defense.
I mismarked the ball. It was at the 20, inside the 27. There was a pickup of about 5 on Cole's carry. So it's second down and 5 for Cribbs, and Joe is caught at the 20 after a pickup of about 2. It'll be third down and 3 for Birmingham. You made a comment in our discussion going into the ball game, Swanee, about the fact that Birmingham is not a quick passing team.
No, they aren't. When they want to set up the throw, they want to throw downfield. Their passing routes are going to break about 15 yards downfield. This would allow the defensive line for Houston to get a substantial pass rush if things are working in their favor.
Birmingham running.
The opposite being true for Birmingham's defense against Houston's offense.
Birmingham running about 41% on third down. Stop, caught, and brought down on the 22, a loss of 2 yards on the play, and that'll get your field goal unit on the field. It was Pete Caton leading the surge with Browner helping. A little surprising to me, they went to the pass on 3rd and 3.
Well, he's not afraid to go to a short pass in that situation, but the pressure just collapsed the pocket around Cliff Stout.
Danny Miller is in for the field goal try. The ball is just inside the 30. It'll be officially a 39-yarder, and he is the 7th leading scorer in the league with 108 points. Plenty of leg on it, and he got it. Now, this is something that makes his coach, Raleigh Dotch, very happy, because Raleigh can grumble a week when the offense brings the ball down and the guy misses a field goal. But Miller hit it, and the Stallions lead it. 3 deep people. Verdon's the man they want to handle the ball, and he's got it at the 9. And he's got a hole. And he's out to the 32. And the football flies out of his hands. And Birmingham has got it. Dennis Woodbury. And Verdun is hurt.
Keith, yesterday, while this team, the Birmingham Stallions, were practicing, the first group of people on the football field were the kickoff people and the kickoff return people. They worked extra hard this week on their coverage, wanting to keep the ball away from Verdun. If he did get the football, good coverage, hitting him hard. That paid off. You see right there the turnover. Woodbury right there to pick it up, and they are in possession of the football on the 35-yard line.
It looks like a shoulder. As he went down on the shoulder, there were two men hit him and came down on top of him, and his left shoulder could very well be popped. Hope not. Birmingham gets possession at the Houston 34 on the turnover, leading 3-0 at 10:48 to go in the first quarter.
Mike Strong.
That's Mark Battaglia calling the offensive line blocking as Cliff Stout calls the play, the quarterback. Stout trying to cash it in a hurry. Pressure on him, steps away, down the middle. Smith wide open. And Jimmy is down to the 12. First down, Stallion. Smith will have a big day.
I think so. Jim is playoff ready. He's had a great season. He is feeling very up. The Birmingham Stallions have already shown a willingness to put the ball in the air. Cliff just really fires this one right in there. He had to. You saw number 31, Tiki Diala, jumping up in the air. Jim Smith went down low to pick it off. You see the Tony Fitzpatrick, number 62, applying the pressure. Watch Jim Smith. He fumbled one last week, holding the football loose. This time he quickly puts it away.
Stallions on first down at the Houston 12.
That'll be against Birmingham. Pat Saindon, number 74, the right guard, looks like he just fired off the line of scrimmage prematurely. Took on Tony Fitzpatrick.
Number 74, offense.
The referee, as we told you, is Burl Sorgan. Umpire is David Foley. Jack Pitkus, head linesman. L.T. Bonner, line judge. Chet DiStefano is the back judge. Grover Klimmer, the side judge. And Mike Mathis is the field judge. Trouble Jack Pardee. His ball club getting in a hole early. Birmingham is a team you don't want to get too far behind against. First and 15, Stout looking to throw. Gets it off. Smith is there. Inside the 10, down at the 8. The pass will drive Mitchell and Rockmore crazy.
He certainly will. I don't think there's a man in the secondary of the Houston Gamblers who can handle Jim Smith one-on-one. Luther Bradley is a cagey secondary man. He plays safety. He might be able to come up and pick something off deep, but no one there can handle him man for man.
The mobility of Stout at 6'4" is an impressive thing. He's a big man, and there isn't a timid fiber in his body.
Carried the ball 80 times this season.
Second down. Smith in the end zone. Stout all day. Throws it away. Pika Diallo was closing on him. Rather than take the loss and the punishment, he just delivered it in the stand. Verdun, we're told, has a slight separation of the left shoulder. It looked like it. Away he fell. Joey Jones checks into the lineup now. He's the quickness. No, he's the speed. Smith has quickness.
Small, low guy. He'll burn down the sideline for the deep routes, trying to stretch the secondary. Watch for the combination pattern between he and Jim Smith. Everyone knows Cliff likes to get the ball to Smitty in these situations.
Kohler is also in. Smith's in the end zone, wide open.
It is one thing, Keith, to have a receiver catch a pass on you or score a touchdown. It's another thing to expect him to do it, to have the opportunity to cover him and have that receiver still get open. It's a good move on Jim Smith's part, reading the defense. Look at the time that Cliff Stout gets here. maintains the patience. He waits for Jim Smith. There is not a defensive back within 5 yards of the grab of Michigan.
And the Gamblers are deep in a hole as Miller kicks. And the point is good. 8:58 to play in the first quarter, and Smith's eating them up.
While we take a look at these replays, let me remind you that was McFadden's kickoff return that gave them field position on the opening kickoff. Then a turnover. Birmingham again had field position. They did not have to march the entire length of the field, only roughly half the football field each possession. The offense getting a leg up, getting the early momentum in this ball game. The defense has not even been on the football field yet.
And Jim Kelly, who was warming up to finally get a chance to run the run-and-shoot offense, maybe will get a chance this time. Miller's kick is going to be short and taken by Vince Corville, another flyer. But the coverage is better this time by the Stallions, and they deck him at the 22-yard line. Ken Kelly, a linebacker, the man that got the hit. And Richard Johnson. The big guys are Taylor, Kirk, Kidd, Rosato, and Robeson. The brace on the knee of Jim Kelly, but does not seem to affect his mobility. He seemed pumped when he came out for the pregame warm-up. From the 22. Little quick pop is good to Sanders, and Sanders is out to the 35, 36 maybe, for the first down. The defensive alignment for the Birmingham Stallions. Purifoy, Klein, Smith, Perko on a four-man front. Spencer, Roll, Kelly are the linebackers, all good ones, with Woodbury, Clanton, Dumars, and Evans in the secondary. And Ted Walton in to help. Walton was the man that scored the big touchdown on the pass interception last week against New Jersey. Kelly whips another one. It's good to McNeil. And Gerald McNeil is just over the 45 and close to another first down, and he caught that one in front of Ted Walton. Let's join Tim Brandt for a moment.
Jim Smith just caught that touchdown pass. It looked like they were cheating to your side anyway. How'd you come through so cleanly?
Well, Cliff bought a lot of time for me. They doubled me down there, but he bought some time for me, and I was able to beat both of them.
Were you expecting to double down that close?
Not that close to the goal line. They've been doubling me out on the field, but not on the goal line. I didn't expect it, but as I said, Cliff bought some time for me, and I was able to get open.
Okay, Keith?
I think you'll have a big day. You already have. For that matter. A first down. No, it is not. Second down and short. They go to Sam Harrell, and Harrell runs the ball well up near the 49. Sam is slippery when he gets a step on you. They'll mark him at the 48.
Birmingham, possessing the #1 defense in the league, also has the #1 takeaway ratio with a +17 on the year. And what they would like to do here is contain the passing attack. If they're going to march down the field, make them consume time on the clock and go the long way, and then try and stop them from getting the big touchdowns very quickly.
Ball is literally at the 49 now as they finally put it down. And Kelly again rolls. And he is in trouble and is dropped at midfield. He had two men, one going deep and one dragging on the far sidelines, and they were just simply not available to him, so Jimmy ate it.
So that time, Kelly moving down the sideline to his left, opening up on that right leg. His mobility looks pretty good here. He is not the fastest quarterback around. He's a big guy, but again, doesn't have the great speed. Now watch him throughout the ball game and just see how his mobility affects his ball game, and see if the Birmingham defense tries to go after him and punish him a bit.
Jackie Klein got that last tackle. Kelly rolls it right this time and delivers on the money. Ball is caught by Sanders. And Sanders out of Southwest Texas at 170 pounds, brought down by Ted Walton, and they're just short of the first down.
Ricky Sanders was injured midway in the season with a knee injury. He has been out for quite some time. That's when Clarence Verdun had come in and really played the bulk of his time of the season, getting 1,000 yards. Ricky Sanders is a man who is traditionally the starter, but with his absence, and the short absence of Richard Johnson, McNeil and Verdun and Scott McGee have had the opportunity to show their talents.
Third down and 2 for Houston. Fowler gets it. Todd Fowler out of Stephen F. Austin loses his hat and may get a fat lip out of that one. Took a little bit of a lick. He had a facial injury, a cut earlier, but he's a big tough kid going to the Dallas Cowboys next year. This fall, I guess.
Yeah, this fall. That cut was about 8 stitches right next to his eye he took when the Gamblers played against the Portland Breakers.
Sam Harrell is back in the backfield now. He's a good pass receiver. The football is marked at the Birmingham 38, and the Gamblers are moving it. They trail, however, 10-0 at 4:20 to go in the first quarter. Kelly rolling it out. He's got Harrell, and Sam's got a first down as he reaches the 23. He almost pulled the ball down, Kelly did, and started to run it back in the middle to eat it, and suddenly Sam became available.
Yeah, but even when Jim Kelly does pull the ball down to run, he still keeps his head up, looking downfield, looking for the open receivers. That time, the wide receivers had all stretched out the field going deep, and Harrell was working the short zone, just trying to find an open spot when Kelly was looking for a receiver.
So Houston continues to march from their own 22 down to the Birmingham 23. Throwing again. He looks for Sanders. He goes the other way. It's touchdown for the Gamblers. Gerald McNeil. Smallest man on the field. 140 pounds of dynamite from Baylor. And he went right in front of Chuck Clanton and made the catch. You wonder if Kelly's sharp? Well, let me tell you, he's 5 out of 5, 69 yards for the touchdown drive.
He's very sharp. When the arm is fresh, when everything is working right, they say his arm is alive. It's got some life to it. That 4-week rest has certainly helped.
Tony Fritch is in for the extra point try out of Tommy Myers' hold. Tommy, an 11-year veteran out of Syracuse. Tony Fritch with 122 points off that right foot this season, and he knocks it right on through. At 3:27 to go in the first quarter, the Gamblers answer with a touchdown drive of 78 yards.
And a very important drive for the Gamblers. Had they not scored here, the possibilities were that Birmingham would take it, marching down the field, possess it for a great length of time. But with a great ball control drive, using the pass as their primary weapon, Jim Kelly led his team, mixing up his receivers to bring his team down to a touchdown to make the score 10-7.
Let me correct that. The kick goes way into the end zone. I misunderstood what was told me. A bad sprain, not a separation.
But in any case, what that means, he will probably not be back in this ball game. He'll lose a valuable weapon, not just as a receiver, but as a kickoff returner who returned 3 kickoffs for touchdowns in the 1985 season. If he returned 1 for a touchdown, that's a great year, but to return 3 is phenomenal.
Birmingham's ball at the 20. First down. Smith and Jones are wide. 10-7 ball game. Stallions lead. 3:21 to go, first quarter. Quarterfinal playoffs, and Joe Cribbs cuts it back and gets out to the 25.
You were talking about Jim Smith going to have a good day this afternoon, Keith. I think we might see a fine afternoon from Joe Cribbs. Like I said earlier, he's been banged up. A lot of minor injuries have just nagged him throughout the season. And before the Birmingham, New Jersey football game, he told me he was ready to play. He thought he was in good shape, and the timing was perfect because we're coming into the playoffs. Yeah. So far in the day, he has 4 carries for 24 yards.
These teams have played one time previously, June 3rd. Birmingham without Smith and without Cribbs won 29-27. Joe carries again, his 5th carry of the ball game, and that's good for about 2 yards. He's got that little loping movement that gets him into traffic, and oftentimes gets him out of traffic.
We'll take a look at it. He's heading to his right, and that little loping movement you talked about allows him to stop and then make a quick cut right back to the other side, and that last final lunge to pick up the 1-yard gain. For any other back, it might have been a loss.
3rd down and 3 now for Birmingham. Houston defense holds them here. It'll lift the entire Houston side. Stout has the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. Looked like number 62 might have been able to get his hand on it. Tony Fitzpatrick.
Tony's not that tall. He's only 6 feet tall, 245 pounds. So that ball's being thrown in the air. We'll take a look. He's number 62. He's being pushed out here. Oh, no, he was hit from behind. By Pete Caton, just as he was about to release the ball.
And so in comes the punter. Gerald McNeil goes deep. Bob Parsons, 35 years old today. Bobby from Penn State had 9 years with the Chicago Bears. Spins it. Long kick. McNeil circles and takes at the 33 and goes out of bounds at the 44. So Houston gets the ball back. And they have good field position depending on what the decision is off the penalty flag that lies in the center of the field. That was a 40-yard punt.
Grabbing the face mask on the return, number 81 of the kicking team, 5 yards.
Darrell Mason, the tight end.
So a mistake by the Birmingham Stallions, and that will improve the field position for the Houston Gamblers. The ball is at the 49 of Houston. 1st down for the Gamblers after the face mask penalty against Birmingham. And Jim Kelly, who took his team to a touchdown, starts operating with Richard Johnson, swinging it wide and picking up 8 on the play. David Evans that time had the chore of trying to run with Johnson. And that's hard. And Kelly is 6 out of 6 for 78 yards.
3 1,000-yard receivers on the year for the Houston Gamblers. Verdun at the bottom, of course, not playing this afternoon because of the injury he sustained on the kickoff. McNeil and Johnson in the ball game and ready to play.
They don't lose a lot with Corville and McGee.
It was some speed with McGee.
Yeah.
That's all.
2nd down and 2. Kelly swings it out to Fowler coming out of the backfield, and Todd is dropped by David Evans at the 40, but it is a Houston 1st down.
One of the things I've noticed throughout the course of the year, Keith, and we've talked about it several times, is the fact that when the receivers for the Houston Gamblers go in motion, very often they find themselves drifting towards the line of scrimmage. But no one seems to pay very close attention to that, and they've gotten away with it. Another thing that's happened to those receivers is that they have very often hit downfield past that 5-yard legal area for chucking a receiver. It'll be interesting to see how it's played by the Birmingham defense, and if the officials keep an eye on that.
Just over the 40. 1st down. Sam Harrell to the 35. Birmingham posted an 8-1 record at home this season, so the home field obviously means something to them. But in the case of the Houston Gamblers, they were only 4-5 at home, but 6-3 on the road. So they don't seem to mind playing on the road.
Well, like some good wines, they travel well.
1st quarter is over. Right now, Jim Kelly has a 2nd down and little more than 5. The ball at the Birmingham 35. And here we go with the first snap of the 2nd quarter. 10-7. Birmingham leads Houston. Kelly going to run it. And gets a couple of yards out of it, and that'll be it. Kelly's running on the year. Not as impressive as Cliff Stout's running, perhaps, but still, Jimmy averaged better than 6 yards every time he chose to carry the ball.
28 times for 170 yards. We'll take a look at the first period stats. You'll see that Houston has accumulated 95 total yards, much of that on that one drive of 78 yards in the first quarter for their touchdown. Everything is even except for the turnovers.
3rd and 3. Drop. That is not a complete pass. And shaken up on the play is Scott McGee. He was really busted when the ball got to him. There's a penalty flag back in the area of where the quarterback was.
I think it's going to be called holding on the Gamblers. But right now, the man I'm more concerned about is Scott McGee. He suffered what I believe to be a minor concussion last week when he took a shot from David Greenwood on Monday night in that Oakland game. Greenwood just laid him out. This time, number 22, David Dumars will come over, and look at the hit he takes right here, right in the rib cage. Now, that won't affect his head, but I think he could have a couple of bruised ribs or possibly broken ribs on that particular hit. We'll take another look at it from the end zone. Watch as his shoulder comes right into the rib cage right there.
Well, we know from having watched him that David Dumars' basic philosophy is you become in my neighborhood, partner, I'll try to make you remember it, and he certainly did that time.
That is the overriding philosophy a secondary has to have against the receivers of the Houston Gamblers. They are small, they are quick. Very often you are not going to get a lot of opportunities to hit them head on because they will look for the sidelines to avoid the contact. McGee is a tough receiver. He'll go across the middle under any circumstances and take his share of punishment.
So Verdun is out. McGee is shaken. The holding call. They say no to it. It's 4th down. And Birmingham will try to muscle up here and stop Houston on 4th and close to 4 yards.
I'm very surprised Houston decided to go for this, Pete. The offense has been working well. Why take this bigger risk in the first half?
They get away with it. They get away with it as Richard Johnson got loose to the sidelines and picked up the first down.
Looked like it was in single coverage against David Dumars, number 22. There are not that many football teams that have tried to take man-to-man coverage in the ball game on Richard Johnson for any length of time. He just goes inside, no real fake. Just cuts it to the outside.
It might have been so loose out there.
I beg your pardon?
Might have been a little pick.
Yeah, a little bit, small pick. But Dumars is so far back, Keith.
Ball comes down to the 23 as the Gamblers take a considered risk and get away with it. First down. Kelly getting good protection down the middle. McNeil to the 1. It'll be first and goal for the Gamblers. Gerald doesn't lose his footing. He's gone.
He would have been in the end zone. Had he caught it, just rolled backwards, he would have been in the end zone. When you respect the speed of a receiver and what a receiver can do, you give him a cushion. You don't want him to beat you badly. I think they gave them too much of a cushion on this particular play. You see Clanton, number 24, is deep in the end zone, and look how far he has to come up to make the stop, to make the tag, on Gerald McNeil.
McNeil is now 3 balls for 55 yards and a touchdown. And they give it a Fowler, and he dives at the right side, and they call it touchdown. But I don't know about it.
I don't think that was a touchdown.
Guy on the side called touchdown, the side judge, but I don't believe he got there. He didn't.
No, he didn't. He was met by very solid opposition. Number 99, Ron Padgett, and number 52, middle linebacker Bill Rowe. You see Bill Rowe right there. You see Padgett coming in from the top of the screen, and they stopped him. The ball was well short of the goal line.
Side judge saw the ball go across on the bounce and signaled TD, but didn't count. They need a couple of feet. This time Todd Fowler dives at the top of it. That time I thought he got there, but this time there is no signal.
No signal. Watch the surge of the defensive and offensive line. They try and tunnel down low. Fowler tries to go over the top, and he didn't leap into the air. He tried to muscle his way through. He's hit and then dragged back away from the line of scrimmage.
Again, it seemed that Bill Rowe was the principal on the play. Defensively. They need about 6 inches.
Third down.
rolls out. And he's dropped on the 3. Coming in is John Reese, number 76. The run-and-shoot offense does not feature the run.
No, they do not. And I hate to use that old analogy, Keith. If you live by the sword, you can die by the sword. This time, with only 6 inches to go, not opting for the run, even though it was only 6 inches. He's hit for a loss of yards on a sack by Don Reese. And now, they're going to have to go for the field goal.
It'll be a 20-yard try for Tony Fritz. Tony is 7 out of 7 at this distance. And it's good. So the Houston Gamblers had first and goal at the 1. They can't knock it in the end zone. They settle for 3. We're tied at 10 with 11:34 to go in the first half. And the beat people are Thad McFadden and Larry Douglas for Birmingham. A 10-10 tie in the first half. Jack didn't quibble about it. On 4th down from the 4, he went for the 3 and he got it. And this kick is quite short. McFadden at the 13. No, Douglas at the 13. Douglas running wide, gets over here and gets into a one-on-one and turns his shoulders upfield and makes something out of it.
You talk about the speed of the small receivers for Birmingham. Larry Douglas, when he was with the Steelers, ran one of those clockings of 4.4 better. Actually, they said he ran it in 4.2 seconds. We had a delayed passing play that we ran called the smash, Keith, where the receiver should come across the field real slow, catch it in the gap. Larry came across so fast, caught the ball, ran 50 yards for a touchdown. We never knew he even had the ball.
That's hand time on the floor. Hand time.
On the track.
Just outside the 33. Stout getting some heat. Gets it away. Incomplete. Threw the ball in front of Jim Smith, but more to get rid of it than anything else because Jose Taylor had a beat on him from the very beginning.
Well, Jose was giving chase. I don't think he would have caught up to him. You know, they have him listed at 270 pounds, Keith, and that's what it says in the player guide. He walked up to me on the field today. He said, Lynn, when you and Keith go up and do the ball game, it's 245. I said, 2 what? Because I only weigh 245. I said, okay, anything you want, Jose. I'm not going to argue.
No. Tripp. Joe's got a hole. Joe's got a first down. See, that's what makes Cribb so tough. Now, he knew he was going to take a wallop from Rockmore, but it didn't back off. He just put his helmet down and went right to him, and he got the first down.
Keith, he got so low, he escaped the major blow.
Yep.
He went right under Rockmore and looked like he bounced him back a little bit. Take a look. Again, the offensive line did a great job opening up the hole here. You see the double team on Pete Caton, number 77. Now he comes to the outside. He gets right under Rockmore. Number 31 comes over Kiki Valley to tie him up around the leg.
It's first down, just short of the 45. Cribbs again, going over the left side, and Joe will have about 3 on that carry with 10 minutes to go in the first half in a 10-10 ball game. Gerald McNeil now having a big day. Here's the Bear with Tim Brent.
Gerald, it looks like they're playing a lot of man on one side, zone on the other. You're getting the zone. Is it helping you come free?
Well, yes, it is. We have to kind of manning up on us inside with Richard and Ricky, and they're leaving us like zone on the outside, which is, good for me because I can just run through the zone till I feel real good. I want to say hello, Mom.
None of that, Keith.
2nd and 7, Birmingham. From the 48. Stout pitched once, then got it away, and a penalty flag comes out of the pocket of the back judge. Joey Jones made the catch for the first down.
Out of the University of Alabama, number 4, Joey Jones is not, again, even though he's small, he's not afraid to go in and take his share of punishment, coming back on the hook pattern.
Holding, defense, number 59, penalty reviewed, first down.
Andy Hawkins caught holding.
We'll take a look. Jim Smith in the slot, Joey Jones on the outside. He runs a basic hook real quick, but the key to it is he keeps coming back to the quarterback, creates the cushion so he does not allow Will Lewis a chance to come back and knock the ball down.
And that's something he did not do for a long time.
He looked at me the other day, Keith, and said, Swan, I heard your commentary. I'm coming back to the ball from now on.
Joe Cribbs in the middle. Tony Fitzpatrick diving in, got his ankles, tripped him up. He'll have a couple of yards on the play. Tony Fitz, who is a roomie, perhaps in truth a freeloader at Jim Kelly's house.
A roomie or freeloader, I think he's more of the sergeant at arms.
The sergeant at arms could be. Well, he's a good one.
Maintaining the peace and the order in the household.
Tony Fitz out of Miami. He makes up for his lack of size and spirit. He is a fighter. It'll be second down about 8. Stout looks at Toller and throws for Toller, and there's a penalty flag. Toller was caught and held by number 39, Dennis Devon. Devon interfered to the point where it had to be called.
The offensive unit for the Birmingham Stallions did a very good job.
Pass interference, number 39, defense.
Of reading the blitz. Number 27, Luther Bradley, is coming up in the line. You see him edging there. He gets picked up by Joe Cribbs, a good block by Cribbs. Toller runs a blitz control route. He would have made this catch. He's interfered with. They'll pick up the first down.
15-yard penalty on the pass interference. And they were working with the nickel arrangement that time, because it read pass in Birmingham's scheme of things. And now, the Stallions are camped at the Houston 27. Paul Caruth is the setback. Rookie out of Alabama. He's got the ball. Tough runner. And he cuts it down to about the 20. That's what Caruth will do for you. You'll see that crack. He's not a particularly fast back, but I watched him throughout his career at the University of Alabama, and time after time after time, he would make the big play, the tough yard.
He did a very good job of it that time. 3 wide receivers in the ball game for the Birmingham Stallions. The Houston Gamblers have 5 defensive backs. Jay Repko, number 88, the tight end on the play. He was blocking down, blocked out 2 people to open up a small hole for Paul Caruth.
Second down and 3 from the 20. Caruth again. There's another first down for Birmingham as he pounds his way inside the 13.
Joe Cribbs was out on those last 2 plays as Jack Pardee looks on. Now he's coming back into the ball game, but it seems, Keith, that they were just going for more of a power inside running game on those particular plays.
Well, Caruth isn't going to dazzle you. Joe will. And a lot of those running plays that Raleigh Dodge likes to use look like the same kind of a play when they start, except in the case of Cribbs now, he can just explode out of there and be gone. 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Joel Cole backfield. Ball is given off the wing to Cribbs, and Cribbs cutting back inside reaches the 9 as he's brought down. They can get a first down without scoring if they get inside the 2.
Mike Hawkins did a good job of coming upfield from his outside linebacker position to turn that play inside.
The Birmingham Stallions will beat on you and beat on you.
They'll try and wear you down, make you tired, get you fatigued, then go up top and hit you with a big play.
Buddy Adelette's in the lineup right now at left guard, coming off injury. Stout wants to throw, goes to Smith, and threw it away. He really didn't have Jimmy, so he dumped it.
I really couldn't tell just how high that pass was, Keith. Very often, even though Jimmy Smith will be covered, if Cliff feels that Jim can go up and make a fight of it and come on with the ball, he'll lay it out there high and let Jimmy go up for it.
Jay Repko is in at tight end, number 88. He's out of Ursinus.
Never heard of it before.
Pennsylvania.
Is it?
Yeah. Third down and 7. No interference. Stout's going to go down and beef on it. But I think probably when you look at the replay, you will see that he slipped.
Well, Jimmy slipped, but Will Lewis, number 24, the man covering on the play, was on top of his back. I couldn't tell whether he made contact while the ball was in the air. We'll take a look. Jimmy's just driving him deep. He doesn't get him turned. That's why Will is in good position to make a play on the ball. I don't think no pass interference, Steve.
Nope. 26-yard field goal try now from Danny Miller. He hit a 39-yarder earlier to open the scoring in the ball game. Bob Lane, reserve quarterback, holds it, and the kick is away. It's good. No flag. And Birmingham goes back to the lead with 5 minutes and 39 seconds to play in the first half. It's 13-10 Stallions. Danny Miller will kick off now to the Houston Gamblers. Vince Corville, probably the man they'd like to have catch this ball. He's going to get it at the 2. Whoops. It was help. As he went looking for a hole, there was nothing to be had, and he's put down around the 10-yard line by Thomas Boyd, another Crimson Tider. The ball is just short of the 10-yard line. First down for the Houston Gamblers, and the wide receiver, Tim Brandt, that Jim Kelly is razor sharp today. This is Richard Johnson carrying the ball. Richard coming off that wingback position to get the handoff. Richard was a running back at the University of Colorado, so that's not a new adventure for him. The Houston Gambler offensive pattern so far has been pretty much for Kelly to go quick from an upright posture. He's rolled out only twice in 11 plays. I don't know, in fact, I see no sign of anything suggesting lack of mobility. It's just that happens to be the pattern they're working with at this particular time or stage of the game with 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Kelly gives the ball to Todd Fowler, and Fowler runs for the first down on 2nd and 3. And now the Gamblers have a little room to operate. And frankly, I'm a little surprised at the way Houston is able to move the football, though Birmingham did shut the door on them on a goal line stand a few minutes ago.
They sure did. I think right now what's happening is they're running the football because Birmingham is set up and really geared for the passing attack. They can get a couple of first downs on the ground. It's just going to give Birmingham much more to think about, maybe force them to change their defensive strategy.
Well, it's certainly out of the norm, Swanee. They've run 19 plays, and 8 of them have been rushing. That is not the norm.
No, it's not.
Trips to the left, 3 wides to the left side. Kelly, a little short drop, looks around and hums one down the middle, and he missed it. He had Johnson available, and that's the first bad pass he's thrown.
I don't know if it was so much a bad pass or he misread the option that Johnson had on that particular play. They've got about 3 or 4 options every time they go out. Johnson was running straight down the field. Kelly threw a pass that seemed more catchable if Johnson had stopped and come back to the football, cutting off the deep route.
The secondary for Birmingham now, 5 backs, Woodbury, Dumars, 6 backs, Walton, Gentry, Clanton, and Evans. So they've got what the vernacular calls the dime defensive alignment in the secondary. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Little quick handoff to Sam Harrell, and Harrell gets about 9 yards out of it. Herb Spencer out of Newberry grabbed him, but couldn't get a firm enough grip to wrestle him down, and Sam pounded in there for a good 8 before he went down.
Dave Purefoy came over to help in number 34, Robert Gentry. Herb Spencer, active linebacker. If he has a shot on Jim Kelly, if Jim Kelly is running with the football, Herbie Spencer will take that shot sheet. He is an aggressive player, and he'll go after you.
It's less than a yard on 3rd down. They throw for it and get it. Oh, Johnson is wide open. And caught by David Evans. Evans had an angle and ran him down. Just able to stretch out and shirt tail him down at the 28-yard line of Birmingham.
Everybody, I think, geared up to stop the short run. Watch the linebackers right there. Everybody comes inside looking for the run. Ball slipped to the outside. He's got Gerald McNeil setting somewhat of a screen or a pick. Then he finds the corner. 39 yards on the pickup.
Well, I would agree now that Kelly is sharp because that was a touch pass, and he dropped it as soft as a feather into his hand.
David Evans isn't so slow himself catching up to Johnson there.
No, he wasn't.
But it's a good thing he had the angle.
Just inside the 29 is where they put the ball. Kelly pumps it, delivers it, and incomplete. Almost. And you know that Bruce is getting up. Mark Bruce gets up believing he could have made that catch. But the ball was hummed. It had some zip on it.
It sure did. Mark Bruce should have really come up with that catch. He caught 20 on the year for 231 yards and 1 touchdown, the longest being 40 yards. But there he was wide open. And as always, you miss a pass, with someone new, you pay a price.
Well, they snapped the last time from near the 29, and now the ball's more toward the 28. Gained about 6 inches.
30-second clock ran out on him. The 30-second clocks in this stadium, one, and the direction that the Houston Gamblers are moving in that Jim Kelly will have to look at is hung above the tunnel. And sometimes not directly in the line of sight of the quarterback, so sometimes you really have to look for it to make sure you're okay. The other one behind Kelly is set up just to the left of the goalpost up against the stands.
It's barely discernible from here. I don't know what it looks like. Well, I do know what it looks like down there. You can see it better from the field, and I can barely see it from here. So it's second down and 15. Kelly throws a knuckleball that time and takes a lick as Perkle came thundering in to get a piece of him. Ricky Sanders was the intended receiver and was available.
Mike Perkle is coming in from around the outside. Defensive unit, I think, has been thrown off ever so slightly because of the higher frequency of running plays that the Gamblers have established here in the first half.
We've got 2:37 to go in the first half of play, and Birmingham leading 13-10. Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. Oh, he threw an interception. Tried to force it, and Woodbury comes up with it, and is going to give Birmingham good field position at the 35. Jimmy misread the option of one of his receivers at least, and threw the ball right to Woodbury.
And he looked like he was trying to place it in a hole. He didn't put a whole lot of power behind it. You watch him, he just little touch on the ball, the nose up, and it floats right in to number 21, Woodbury. Woodbury does a good job returning the football up the field, giving his team better field position. Woodbury came into this ball game, into the playoff game, with 5 interceptions in the regular season.
So the Gamblers turn it over, and Birmingham, leading 13-10, will go from their 35 first down. Stout unloads it to Joel Coles, and Coles will be marked all the way down to the 43 of Houston as he teetered along. And I was so involved in one watching Joey Jones run a fly toward the corner, and he had the man whipped, and then suddenly Stout almost crossed the line of scrimmage before he threw the ball.
He came very, very close.
We've got 1:59 to play in the first half, and the Stallions now at 43 of Houston, holding a 3-point lead. Just short of the 43 of Houston, first down for Birmingham. 1:59 to go. The Stallions have all 3 timeouts to work with. Stout gives to Cribb. Joe bounces outside, then they gang tackle him. Be a loss on the play beyond the 45, back to about the 47.
Joe came off that line of scrimmage, and it looked like something was going to open up. And you could just see it in his movement. He sees it. If he can get to the outside, he might be able to break it free there. Now he's just struggling, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Second down. Tips out, throws it. And Houston's screaming for a grounding call, but they won't get it.
Brooks ends up hobbling.
Yes, Hawkins stepped on his foot, I think.
On
Andy
purpose?
Hawkins was. I think Andy was clutching and grabbing and stomping at anything that was wiggling, wearing white.
Yeah.
College football coming up Labor Day night from Athens, Georgia. We'll have the Alabama Crimson Tide visiting the Georgia Bulldogs. Some news today from Vince Dooley, Georgia football coach. I'll tell you about it in a minute. On third and about 14. Stout's pass is incomplete, and there's a penalty flag. Joey Jones was denied progress to the ball by Will Lewis. Will had him shielded away and held his ground, and they're going to call it interference.
Well, if he shields him, if he's got position, was holding his ground,
Number 24.
that's okay, because he's allowed to have his own position on the field. I think what Will Lewis is doing, he seemed to be grabbing him. We'll take another look. Joey Jones, number 4, at the top of your picture, right there. See the hand out there?
Yep.
He puts the hand out there and pushes him away.
Yep. Anyway, the news on Vince Dooley, and I understand it was confirmed by Vince at a news conference, that he will be a candidate for the Senate, U.S. Senate next year.
Yeah.
First down.
Reggie.
Red 75! Red 75!
That's an audible.
We got the wheel right here.
Tony Fitzpatrick was prowling like a big old panther. He was just crouched coming in, and nobody picked him out. And he just stayed there until Stout turned back into him, and he got it.
You heard the center on the football team, Mike Battaglia, is Mike, number 59. And there's a timeout in the field. You heard them say, "I've got the will here." Looked like they were going to blitz. They faked the blitz. They were still able to get a great pass rush to get the sack. The score is 13-10, Baltimore.
The football is located at the 41 of Houston. The Birmingham Stallions have to get the football inside the 22. So they need 19 yards. Stout has hit 3 of his last 9 balls. Penalty flag thrown. Pass is complete to Ken Toller, and Ken Toller is caught and dragged down by Dennis Devon. He got a holding call against Birmingham coming up.
Holding, number 74, offense.
Pat Saindon from Vandy.
See the emotion of Raleigh Dodge, the head football coach of the Birmingham Stallions, who lead this ball game 13-10 at the moment.
They had a pretty fair chance here to put some more points on the board, but they've diddled around now and made some mistakes. And they may come away with no points with 1:03 to play in the first half. Both teams have been flagged 3 times today. Birmingham only had 90 penalties all season. Houston had 125. But I'll tell you, last week and in the Tampa Bay game, they had 9 penalties in that ball game, plus 5 turnovers, and they cost them. They lost them.
I'm gone.
Stout buys some time on the rollout. Did he lose control of the ball, or what?
He looked like he started to throw the football and just brought it back and then throw right on top of it. Pete Caton was a man that finally came around the top. They did a good job getting around Pete Caton. That's Pete Caton stumbling on the left. He's looking downfield. Maybe he thought he had a receiver open.
Well,
he just tripped over his own feet.
That's embarrassing.
Tall AstroTurf.
It's a rug.
I know. Tall AstroTurf. Artificial grass.
Third and 30 now for Birmingham. They're going the wrong way. Lets it fly. Smith is there, but it's knocked down by Luther Bradley. I got a hunch that wherever Jimmy Smith goes the rest of the day, you'll find Luther Bradley not too far away.
Well, Luther Bradley is the free safety, and if they're playing any kind of man coverage with help, with a free safety, it's going to be Luther Bradley who will cheat over to play Jim Smith to give help to the cornerback who has to cover him.
Bob Parsons is in to punt now with 22 seconds remaining in the first half and a 13-10 Birmingham lead. Parsons' first punt today was 40. This is a spinner to the sideline. Takes a hop up in the air and will die somewhere inside the 10-yard line. 9. Gerald McNeil back had no chance to return that one. And it's a 43-yard punt with no return.
In their first meeting, Bob Parsons did a great job of punting the ball away from McNeil, punting it out of bounds at the 4-yard line, then punting it inside the 5-yard line, and one outside the 26-yard line, which virtually gave McNeil no opportunities to return the ball and place them in poor field position.
Well, the way they started, I thought we might need a 3-digit scoreboard to handle it. But it's quieted down considerably here in the second quarter. From the 9, first down, and Kelly will run the clock out, and they'll go to the clubhouse with the Birmingham Stallions leading the Houston Gamblers at the half, 13-10. Temperature in the low 80s at Legion Field in Birmingham. We'll be back with our halftime activities after this message and a word from our local stations. Danny Miller will kick off. And it's a high, relatively short kick and will be handled by Vince Corville for the Houston Gamblers. Vince looking for some daylight and isn't going to find any. He's thrown out short of the 20. And the Gamblers will have the first offensive possession. As we start the second half, Birmingham leading 13-10. Here are your halftime stats.
Well, as we look at the stats from halftime, we see that there's nothing unexpected in them. Total yards for Houston being achieved primarily by the pass, the balance of the Birmingham team, with 2 turnovers. The 3 points in the game is the difference of the 2 turnovers. The time of possession, 15:07 for Houston and 14:53 for Birmingham, with Houston only having 3 possessions in the entire first half compared to the 5 for the Birmingham Stallions.
They have put the football at the 17. So Jim Kelly takes the snap from Billy Kidd, throws very quickly, trying to pop Richard Johnson between the 2 defenders. He got something out of it all right, but he could have had a lot more. He's just over the 25. Same offensive and defensive alignments going for the 2 teams, with the exception of Clarence Ferdinand, who suffered quite a bad sprain of his left shoulder. Was not, we're told by the doctor, separated. I'm sure they'll take a second look, however, when they get home. Second down, about 1. Ball is dropped behind the line of scrimmage by Ricky Sanders, and he runs out of bounds at the 15. They were trying to run the play to this side with Sanders coming off the wingback position, much as they had used Richard Johnson going the other way in the first half, but Sanders just didn't hang on.
The ball was put right there in the stomach, and he never grabbed it, slid away from him. He wisely picked it up and stepped out of bounds.
So there is a loss on the play, and brings up 3rd down and 12 now, and the Gamblers stutter a bit here in the first possession of the second half.
6 defensive backs in the ball game for Birmingham.
Ted Walton among them, who had a big defensive play last week. They go deep with it, and that one is incomplete. It was incomplete to Dennis Woodbury, who had position on Gerald McNeil, and the ball at Corville, and the ball just simply bounced off of the chest of Dennis Woodbury, and it was Vince Corville running the fly down the sideline.
A wide receiver in a situation like this, Keith, has to turn quickly into a defensive back. He sees Woodbury's going to get the ball. He quickly turns around, pulls his arms back, causing him to drop the football.
So Birmingham should come out of this with pretty good field position as Frank Corral stands at his goal line to punt, and Thad McFadden is the deep man for Birmingham.
You were talking about that football action on TV. I saw some old NFL films where Frank Corral took 3 field goals to take the Los Angeles Rams to the Super Bowl in 1979.
He's averaged 40 yards punting, got some pressure on him, and there's a flag. Coming in, number 75, Dave Purifoy, tried to reach for the ball and clobbered Corral. So it's roughing the kicker, and up the field it'll come for a first down.
Number 75,
Last week's game,
defense.
Monday night game against Oakland, they blocked one of Corral's punts and also came close to blocking another, put pressure on him, and he didn't get away a couple of punts. That time, Purifoy thought he could get there in time. He looked like he was in pretty good position, but he didn't get a piece of the ball. You might have an argument about being pushed into the punter, but a very slim one.
I think the man took his hands away. Yeah, he wasn't pushed in. That penalty carries with it a first down.
Yeah, the importance of that penalty is not so much the yards they get marking the ball off, but the fact is Houston maintains possession. With Riley Johnson going to challenge it.
He's going to challenge it. He's going to challenge it. The fact, I'm sure, that the man was blocked into the ball. There's a goodly amount of distance between Purifoy and the kicker when whatever contact was made. This one should give us a little better read on it here from this angle.
Watch number 7 here. Here's the man who does the pushing. The question is, how much of a push did he give him right there in the back as he goes up in the air? That's a judgment that the official made on the field that it was not significant, and now the replay official will have to
if he tipped the ball, he can deck the kicker.
That's right. We'll see.
Can't tell.
I can't tell that he actually touched the ball. We'll take another look. Close up of Frank Corral. We'll slow it down for you right there. It's hard to tell whether he touched it or not.
Birmingham is charged with a timeout. The play stands as called.
Doesn't look like he did touch the ball, and the push by number 7 was insignificant. That was Threadgill, quarterback number 7, who was in there blocking.
Purifoy just came free, and once a man that size commits himself,
you're right.
like a fallen tree. So it'll be Houston's ball, first down at the 20. Birmingham charged with a timeout.
Dave and I have one thing important that's in common to both of us. We're collectors of wine, Keith.
Is that right?
Yep.
His capacity is greater than yours. Long downfield pass just misses McNeil.
There's a yellow flag down on the field also.
That's going to go against Houston.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, illegal block, number 46, offense.
That's against Todd Fowler. They called it an illegal block. I didn't see it, but an illegal block from his point of view would either be a chop block where someone was coming in and he clipped them below the waist, and from the side. We'll take a look and see on the replay. Number 46, Todd Fowler, is just there on the right side. I can see him going right down. That's a chop block.
That's tough.
Contact being made by the offensive lineman. He holds up the defensive lineman, and Tyler came in and chopped him down like an old tree. A lot of ball players have been hurt that way. Pittsburgh used to do it quite well.
Clock is rolling along. Yeah, they did. 13 minutes to play in the third quarter. 13-10. Birmingham leads Houston. And now the Gamblers have a first down and 20. Back at the 10. Kelly gives the ball to Sam Harrell, and Harrell breaks it big. And he comes out to the 30 and may have a first down. So they're finding some gaps in the defensive front of Birmingham and running the ball more today with more success than one might have expected.
You have to keep in mind that in 1984, Sam Harrell had over 1,000 yards and for a short period of time held the league record for the most yards in one game with 200.
They do have a first down on the 30. Trailing by 3. Sanders? Not much. They set up Sanders over here. They wound up with Sanders in motion, going into 3 wide receivers. 2 of them took it back inside, and they tried to break Sanders open. But Teddy Walton wasn't buying it. Well, I go back to Harrell again, but this time Sam's got a problem.
They throw him for a loss. Number 55, Herb Spencer. The roar of the crowd indicated 2 things to me, Keith. Number 1, they were happy that they stopped him, and number 2, they thought maybe that someone should have been called for a clip on Herb Spencer. Looked pretty close up here. He might have been blocked from behind.
Loss is back to the 25, 24-yard line.
Take a look, number 55, linebacker Herb Spencer. Harrell gets the ball, he starts to scramble around. Now watch what happens when he comes back to his right. We'll see 55 coming right there. And
his shoulder's tested. Kelly gets it away, and it is incomplete, intended for Scott McGee. Woodbury was right there, ready to separate him from his senses if he'd caught the ball.
He was looking for the killer hit right there. McGee goes up for this pass. Doesn't hang on to it, but if he keeps going forward, you see he still makes a little contact right on the head here.
Corral is in to punt. They went to the sidelines after being clobbered by Purifoy and found all the appendages still connected. So he'll try it again.
One thing very obvious, the defense of Birmingham has settled down. They stopped this offense twice.
Yes, they have. Not much blitzing, though. I thought we might see more blitzing than we've seen. No pressure on Corral this time, and not a particularly good kick. And McFadden makes a good decision. He comes up quickly and calls fair catch. And we'll have the football first down right around the 44 after a 32-yard punt by Frank Corral. As Birmingham comes up now from their own 44, first down, leading 13-10 with 10:55 to play in the third quarter. Cliff South as Joel Coles and Joe Cribbs behind him. Yes! Cribbs sweep. That's the first down as he comes all the way to the 45 of Houston. Here's Tim Brandt.
Keith, one of the big keys here this afternoon has to be possession of the football, ball control, trying to wear out the other one, the frustration. You can see the temperature down here on the field. It is extremely hot. It is now over 110 degrees. That has been on the turf. The turf seems to hold the heat up a little bit higher up here near the shoulder level. There is a slight breeze blowing, but you can tell that the wear and tear on these players are starting to show now. There is a fatigue factor. It is awfully hot down here, and that will be a factor.
Would you like some iced tea?
Absolutely. You have some?
Yes.
Yes, yes. We have a fan, too.
Cribbs again. Cuts it back toward the middle this time and doesn't get a lot out of it. A couple of yards on the play. It will just absorb the energy. Just takes it right out of your body when it's that hot.
And when it's that hot on the field, the rubber on your shoes also starts to soften up, loosen up. You have to be careful of getting your ankles turned around or the shoe rolling over on your ankles, spraining them.
Mike Weeks.
2nd and 8. Throwing. No. Penalty flag. Smith. Flag against Mike Mitchell as he covered Jim Smith. Another flag on Mitchell. That's double penalty coming up here. You got first the penalty, and then you got an unsportsmanlike conduct call.
Might be about, what, 25, 30 yards tacked on this one?
Could be 30 yards.
Yep.
Pass interference. Number 35 defense is declined.
No, I can't double it up again.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 35 defense is accepted.
Well, you talk about the frustration. I think it's fairly obvious it's pass interference here. Watch Smitty. He's trying to turn around. Mitchell's got his hands all over him. You saw the jersey in his grasp being pulled away.
I guess, Swanee, it's got to be pretty severe to double it. I have seen it done, but only when it's extreme. Mike Mitchell lost his cool there, and it cost him 15 yards.
Take a look. After Mitchell gets caught for the flag, he comes in, he bumps the official, and you're not supposed to make any contact with the officials in the ballgame.
It's first down Birmingham now at the 28 of Houston. And Stout cannot get away. Diallo gets him. Kiki on the hunt, coming up the middle from his middle linebacking position, and he puts Stout on his back outside the 40.
Great defense that time on that particular play by the Houston defense. He was looking for the real quick pass, a short 5-yard hitch pass to Joey Jones. Joey Jones was covered. He dropped back further in the pocket, looked to his left for Jim Smith. Jim Smith was going to hook at about 10 yards. Both receivers were standing stationary, Keith. They were not scrambling around. He did not have a target to go to, and the protection was short.
Stout goes long for Joey Jones. Jones is knocked down around the 23, short of the first down, but they picked up a chunk there. Got 14 yards out of the play.
Keith, that play has worked for him consistently throughout the afternoon. That's about the third time they've run a deep crossing pattern, or top of the dig, as we used to call it in Pittsburgh, and it's been open. But they haven't continued to go to it. They keep trying to mix things up instead of staying with the pass patterns that have worked for them in the first half.
Time remaining, third quarter. Stout was getting the pressure, and the wall was falling on him, and he just sort of dumped it down in where there was nobody.
Number 79, Ross Bronner, was a man coming in from over the top. I couldn't see that he had any receivers open downfield.
This is a man-sized field goal try by Danny Miller. He's hit from 39 and from 26. And this one is going to be 41. Eight out of 12 between the 40 and 50. A lot of leg. Good. So Danny Miller today is on the money. He's kicked 3 field goals. And the Birmingham Stallions move out now to a 16-10 lead over Houston. That's 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
They buried him.
He's a good guy. High hanging kick. 12-yard line. Vince Corville. Well, it took him a while to get him down, and finally number 88, Jay Repko, came up and really jumped on top of him and took him down. 7:21 to go, third quarter. Houston unable to get on track so far as Kelly throws and McKee catches for a first down out at the 32. So that's the first offensive movement. The Houston field position after the Corville kickoff return to get things going early has been their own 23, 10, 17, and 19. So that's hardly anything to write home about.
The special teams work that Birmingham has done in preparation for this game has been very extensive because of the threat of the great offensive weapon that the Houston Gamblers have in their special teams.
Kelly Kelly getting time, dumps it off to Todd Fowler. Fowler puts his head down and goes for the marker. And I don't know if he got there or not.
I don't think he did.
Time sort of creeping along here in this third quarter. Neither team doing much offensively so far. Birmingham had some movement and then started making a whole bunch of mistakes. And now they're going to bring the chains in to measure and see whether or not he, in fact, did make the first down.
Birmingham has not been able to really get sustained pressure on Jim Kelly in this ball game. And Kelly has shown no signs of immobility because of the stretched ligaments or partially torn ligaments he suffered earlier in the year.
No, not much blitzing yet, anyway.
No, they haven't, not at all.
They sacked him one time for a -4 yards, whereas Cliff Stout, on the other hand, has been sacked 3 times.
That's correct. But if you put in 6 defensive backs, 4 down linemen, and 1 linebacker, who's going to blitz for you?
True. You keep injecting logic, don't you?
Every once in a while.
First down for the Gamblers. As Kelly sets it up left, goes back right, has a lot of time to look, throws to Mark Barousse, and Barousse makes the catch at the Birmingham 41 for another.
No, they rule it incomplete.
They're going to wave it off. Well, we had one of those reversed last week.
And there's another flag down on the field in the backfield of the Houston Gamblers.
Well, Jack's got a flag to spin. Is he going to do it here?
Unsportsmanlike conduct, illegal block, number 46 offense.
Well, considering the fact that he's got a chop block call coming against his team for the second time, I'm not sure this... the only problem is if he loses the challenge, he's not only got the foul, but he's got the loss of a first down, and there's no way in the world I can tell you from that picture whether or not he caught the ball or not.
That's the second time, as she's pointed out, Keith. Houston has been called, or Todd Fowler has been called for the illegal block. I have a feeling that it was something that the people from Birmingham brought to the attention of the officials at the end of the first half. Maybe some of the linemen were complaining about it because they'd kept their eyes on it all during the second half.
That's the 4th 15-yard penalty against the Gamblers and sets them way back. Little quick pop goes to Richard Johnson, and Richard is up to about the 45 on that play, and he'll need about 6 yards for the first down. It'd be kind of tough, you know, to go ahead have made your decision and suddenly miss part of the information that's being imparted and make that red flag challenge and then have the whole bloody thing wiped out because of the penalty. 5:50 to play in the third quarter. Kelly, is that intercepted?
Yep. It is. No.
I don't
Official
think so.
rules it's not intercepted.
Now you got a penalty flag and a scuffle downfield after the Dumars, the Birmingham defensive back, picked it up and started running. This third quarter's been kind of draggy.
No foul, number 55, defense.
Herb Spencer.
This whole third quarter has been quite a bit frayed. Everyone seems to have a lot of loose ends, not pulling anything together.
The penalty is against Birmingham. There was no interception, waved off. So what are they going to do with the football? The line of scrimmage is just short of the 45. Now Burl Sorgan sorting it out, brings the ball up to the line of scrimmage, and now he'll walk off. 15-yard penalty. And that makes it first down Houston at the Birmingham 40. Not tell you what, I would not like to be the official on that side of the field because he's getting rattled around by Raleigh's vocabulary.
Now there's Herb Spencer, number 55, right there blocking.
Oh, shiver. On Kelly.
Well, I told you if Herb Spencer had a chance to give him a shot, he would.
That's a cheap shot.
That one was a cheap one. And totally unnecessary.
Little quick pop goes through the hands of Ricky Sanders. That play has been available most of the day to Houston, but they've missed on it quite a bit here in the second and third quarters. It'll be second down and 10.
With the linebackers out of the ball game and the extra people in the secondary in, they're playing more to the outside in their coverage of the wide receivers, and there's no linebacker coming out from inside out to really look for that short pop pass.
We've got timeout on the field with 5:12 to play in the third quarter. Houston trying to mount a threat here. Coming up on second down and 10 from the Stallions' 40.
We'll take another look at Jim Kelly, who is going to get popped here by number 55, Herb Spencer, right in the middle of your picture. Important. Jim Kelly stands his ground, delivers a blow back himself, but it gets him a little pumped up. He'll get mad at the linebacker for taking what is obviously a very cheap shot, and he'll want to come right back after him and take the ball downfield and possibly right over the top of Spencer. He's a tough kid.
Ball is on the 40. It's second down and 10 for the Gamblers. They trail 16 to 10. Pass is away. Sanders wide open and has to step out of bounds. His momentum carrying him away from the field of play, and he's just short of the 21 at a first down.
Keith, there was a mix-up. There was a mix-up on that play. One of the defensive backs should have come over and picked him up in motion. Look at the pressure here. One of the few times they've got it in very quickly on Kelly. He still gets the ball away. But the cornerback, one of the people was late coming across with the man in motion, and that allowed Sanders to come wide open.
So the Gamblers now manifesting a threat here in the closing minutes of the third quarter. From the 21 of Birmingham. Kelly goes to Johnson. Touchdown. Great catch, Richard.
Number 22 catches it over number 22. Richard Johnson making the reception for a touchdown over David Dumars. Pardee a little happier about circumstances now, and Riley Koch
Sure, but what Herb Spencer didn't make a mistake by leveling on Kelly. Ever since that's happened, they put him in position, and Kelly now puts him in the end zone on a 21-yard play here. Watch this catch.
He just goes up in the air, comes down on his back, hangs on to it.
When you catch it, it doesn't hurt.
No. You hardly feel a thing.
6 for 106 yards and a touchdown for Johnson. Tony Fritz for the extra point. Oh, high snap. But it's put down by Tommy Myers, and Fritz knocks it through.
Johnson going in motion here. They just turn upfield. Looks like he's going to catch it in between zone coverage. He's got a man over the top, sacrificing his body. He goes up in the air. He's a small man, but he gets up pretty good. Notice the timing, the body control. As he gets turned around, braces himself for the blow, and makes the catch.
5:01 to play in the third quarter, and the Houston Gamblers have gone to the lead for the first time, 17-16. Corral, who's headed for the Raiders, kicks off. And it is Larry Douglas. Back to about the 24. What did you say about Corral? Frank Corral?
About Frank? Oh, I was talking to him before the game started, and he told me that he and his agent came to an agreement with the Raiders, and when the season is over for him here at Houston, he'll be vying for a kicking job with Chris Barr with the Los Angeles Raiders.
And would fill a need, I guess, if something happened to Ray Guy as a punter. So.
Absolutely. Plus, he has to be somewhat dissatisfied just punting and kicking off. He'd like to get in and score a few points.
25-yard line where they put it down. Clip stop. Going on first down to the air. Sideline. Good to Jim Smith. They hold him short of the first down, and the officials jump in quickly. Pick-up of about 8 yards on the play. Will Lewis defending over there from Millersville State.
Jim caught the pass, turned on Will Lewis, and gave him a pretty solid straight arm when you couldn't fake him out to find some running room.
Time remaining is 4:25, third period.
Base.
We'll be able to give you a lot more as for the semifinals once we get through the games tomorrow. Joe Cribbs. Joe will not get the first down. It was second down and 3, and Joe may have 1. No more than that. Here's the man that scored the touchdown to give Houston the lead, Richard Johnson.
All right, Keith, and he's going to tell us exactly what happened on that play. He came through cleanly.
Okay, right here. I'm going up the seam, and the strong safety is coming up to take the flat. And the free safety is so far in the middle, and Jim threw it over the strong safety head, and the corner couldn't get there in time, and it was 6 points.
Keith says it doesn't hurt when you fall like that if you catch it.
No, it doesn't.
All right, Keith.
He's pretty good.
Not bad. Put him in my chorus line.
That goes Stout on third down and 2.5. Down the middle. Pass good. First down, Birmingham, 45. And it's Mason making the catch. The first time Darrell has seen the ball today, the tight end. It's amazing how many times that dragging tight end at about 10, 12 yards down in the middle is going to be available.
Especially when you've been going to the receivers further downfield, it helps you create a bigger cushion. I thought Darrell Mason, as a pass receiver, would be much more a part of this offensive game plan this afternoon than he has been.
Flag 34 lead! Flag 34 lead!
Joe found the hole, went from the 45 to the 49 of Houston. Pickup of 6 yards on that play.
Joe Cribbs' longest gain of the regular season was 28 yards. Much more accustomed to seeing him breaking bigger runs during the length of an 18-game season. But the USFL Championship game will be broadcast live July 14th from the Meadowlands, New Jersey. Looking forward to that. 8 o'clock Eastern.
Second and 4. Cribbs again running up the middle. And Battaglia, Adelet, and Saindon giving him some room. Hawkins, the tackle, Andy. And it's a first down for Birmingham. The ball being placed at the 41 of Houston.
Joe Cribbs is only just a fraction away from breaking something big here, Keith. It's always a linebacker, and that time it wasn't even a solid tackle, but just a good hit that threw him off balance and brought him down. But he's just a hair away from getting through that linebacking core and into the secondary for a big run.
Little play action, good block by Coles to give Stout time. Hits Joey Jones for a first down. And Joey's out of bounds at the 22 of Houston. He was dueling over there with Mike Hawkins, number 57. And Mike did well to hang on to the speedster.
A mismatch in size, also a mismatch in speed as the little Joey Jones takes the ball and turns up to face Mike Hawkins. And he put a little move on him. Did get some clearance to the sideline. He beats Mitchell here, turns on him as he can't hold on to him. Picks up about another 3 or 4 yards.
First down at the 22 of Houston. Gamblers leading 17-16. They send Cribbs to the right side. And a little bit, maybe 2.
2 yards and about 6 Gamblers. All in on that play.
Closing out the third quarter of play in the quarterfinal playoffs tomorrow. It'll be Tampa Bay at Oakland and reports from Denver, Memphis. And then Monday night, we'll keep you updated on what happens between Baltimore and New Jersey during ABC's Monday Night Baseball. And check your local listings for the game in your area in our presentation of Monday Night Baseball.
Very important here, Keith, for Birmingham, having possessed the ball and marched the length of the field, to get a touchdown.
2nd down and 8 from the 20. Scott goes short with it. And there isn't a whole lot there as Jay Repko comes over, the tight end, to make the catch. But Luther Bradley was right there with him.
Jay Repko shows his lack of experience as a runner carrying the football. All his blocking was on the inside. What he needed to do was to cut back inside, pick up that blocking. Someone would have blocked up on number 27, Luther Bradley, and he would have been able to pick up a sizable gain on the play.
Toller is back in now at a wide receiver spot for Birmingham. And they're looking at 3rd down and 9 now as the loss on the play with Repko is for 1 yard.
One time. On one.
Left side, Adelette stood up. Buddy stood up. Too soon.
Start. Number 78, offense.
It is so important for them to score. The reason being that if they don't score a touchdown here and come away with another field goal, it's very much a psychological victory for the Houston Gamblers defense. They've been down here several times, and they've only come away with 1 touchdown in this ball game. The rest have all been field goals. They desperately need to get some points on the board because we've seen how quickly Houston can march down the field. Their last scoring drive, of course, 81 yards, only took them 2 minutes and 32 seconds.
They're looking at 3rd and 14 now. Got him. They're going to call him in the grasp. That's the 4th sack by the Houston defense on Cliff Stout today. And they'll put him back at the 40, and that takes him out of Miller's field goal range.
Number 79, Ross Browner, out of Notre Dame, played for the Cincinnati Bengals, was a 1st-round draft choice for them. Number 35, Mike Mitchell.
By golly, they're going to go. They're going to go with a field goal try.
They're going to go for a field goal here.
Wind must be at his back.
Now the wind is, it looks like it's at his back from the flags I see circling around in the end zone that he's going to kick for.
57 yards. His long of the season, 53. If he misses, Houston gets good field position out at the 40. He got it! 57 yards by Danny Miller. It made it by a yard to spare. It's a tough call. You're down by a point. You go for a 57-yarder, and watch it. It just comes back enough and has just enough to get over.
Forget what I said about a field goal not being a win for them or a psychological defeat for them. Kicking one 57 yards gives you a feeling that anything you want to do, you can, and you can achieve it.
Miller now 39 yards, 26 yards, 41, and 57, the 57 being a USFL record. Playoff record. Oh, that woke up the home folks, didn't it? With 18 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, 19-17 Birmingham, and Miller kicks it deep. Don't come with it, he won't.
That's his best return of the day.
Yep. Corville said, I think I'll take the 20. And so it will be the Houston Gamblers ball at their 21st down. Well, Danny Miller's had his ups and downs since coming here. He missed a couple of field goals in the 17-14 loss to Tampa Bay when Birmingham had a chance to lock the Eastern Conference Championship a week earlier. But today he has delivered. He was actually cut after week 7 and had to re-earn the job. Could be the last play of the quarter. They go to Fowler, and a big hole for Todd Fowler. Out across the 30 and up to the 34. And time running out in the third quarter of play, and here's Danny Miller with 10.
All right, Keith, he told me that one before this could go 60 yards. You felt all the way you could nail 57?
I felt like I hit it pretty good. The main thing on a long kick is just to relax and not try to overkick it, and I think that's what happened. And I think the Lord had the biggest thing to do with it because he gave me the strength to do it.
And the wind helped a little bit at your back.
Oh, yeah. Well, he controls all that kind of stuff, so that's why I just leave it in his hands.
All right,
All right. It's 1917, the Birmingham Stallions leading the Houston Gamblers after 3 quarters of play. And we'll be back as we continue our coverage of this quarterfinal playoff game after this message and a word from our local station. He's got quite a thing going for himself in playoff games. Houston's ball first down at the 35. Deep for McNeil. Can't hold on. Ted Walton defending.
There's a definite mismatch in speed. Teddy Walton is really more of a strong safety than anything else, real strong and physical. McNeil just takes off down the sideline. He's got world-class speed, and the ball is in the air right here. And he just puts on the afterburners to catch up to the ball. Jim Kelly could have put a little bit more into this. McNeil could have run under it. It would have been 6 points. Walton did a good job just reacting to the ball coming down in Gerald's hands.
2nd and 10 from the 35. 1917, Birmingham leading by 2 points on Miller's 57-yard field goal. Todd Fowler. He'll have 2, and that's all.
That was Bill Rowe who made the tackle, number 52. He has not been in the game much this afternoon due to the fact that the defense of the Birmingham Stallions have been playing more of that dime defense, 6 defensive backs, 1 linebacker, 4 down linemen, and once again, true to the first half of play, or the first 3 quarters of play, he comes out of the ball game. 6 defensive backs are in. Seven defensive backs are in. What is it?
3rd and 8. Kelly gets away from the pressure and tries to pick up the first down, but he's going to be short by a yard or so. And it'll bring up 4th down with 13 minutes and 50 seconds to play. Corral is in to punt on 4th and close to 2. Too early to take this kind of a gamble, even if you are a gambler. They've got 10 men up on the line, but 2 of them occupied with down to the wide people who function as coverage, and they run out the clock, 30-second clock, and it'll cost them 5 yards.
This ball game is very much in the hands now of the Birmingham Stallions offense. They have to be much more consistent and develop more of that killer instinct when they get the possession of this punt and drive it the length of the field to score, and not be satisfied with a field goal, even one of 57 yards.
Houston flagged 7 times for 80 yards and penalties.
You got it, Vince, you got it!
Low driving kick to McFadden. Oh, that's a good play downfield. But here's penalty flags all over the play as Vince Corville was down and grabbed a hold, and you probably got an illegal block somewhere downfield.
I think so. I couldn't tell who it was, but it looked like they were trying to be very careful not to clip. And then as McFadden took control of the punt, they decided to engage the block. They thought they had a clear shot, but the official was right on top of it.
On the return, illegal block in the back by the return team, number 21.
Yeah, Dennis Woodbury.
Woodbury, yeah. We'll take a look at it. See right there, he just makes the push in the back of Corville. Corville still hangs on to make the tackle.
So Birmingham gives up what was pretty good field position now as the ball comes back to about the 11-yard line with 13:08 to play in the game. deep for Smith. And it is rainbowed just beyond his reach, and we're told by Hal Hayes, the public relations director for the Birmingham Stallions, 18,500 is the crowd. That is the smallest crowd they have had since 1983. And if there is a message in there, so be it. And I think there is. I think part of it goes back to the very simple point that from the beginning it was a question as to whether or not USFL springtime football could change recreation habits of the American public, and it's becoming increasingly clear the answer is no. 2nd and 10. Stout's going to pull it down and run with it, and gets it up to about the 17.
Had to avoid one of the officials in that little scramble.
Yeah. Point was made yesterday in talking to a businessman here in Birmingham, and he said, well, half the population is probably on the Gulf Coast this time of the year. I don't know.
Well, we know where they aren't.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, also, I believe in history, our affiliate here in Birmingham had one of its biggest ratings ever in coverage of a Stallions game. So, the impact of television is something you could never really determine nor measure. I don't think. A lot of people think they can. 3rd down and 4. And it's Joel Cole. And he's close. Just over the 20. Had to get out just past the 21 as Rockmore brought him down. Kind of an interesting thing in the television side of it again. The highest ratings the first 2 years, I guess, for television coverage of the USFL had to be in the Philadelphia area, Philadelphia market. But they were never really able to translate the heavy following on television into ticket sales. And then now, of course, they've bounced off to Baltimore and they've done quite poorly. Or to College Park. Bob Parsons to punt it. Good high kick by Bob. McNeil back to the 38. Got one big block. Got 2 big blocks. And he's finally chased out of bounds across the field.
He ran the...
So Houston gets the ball now, and they get very good field position, and now you've got penalty flag thrown.
Referee.
Let's see what it's about. Came awfully late. Must have been something that happened along the sideline.
You know, I question whether or not that wasn't an illegal block being in the back by Houston. It wasn't called right there by the official who dropped his beanbag.
Yeah, I think he might have reached for his flag back here. I saw the beanbag come out, and I think he got his beanbag instead of the flag.
Well, no, I think he was trying to mark where the return was starting from. That's where he dropped the bag.
And didn't come with the flag. So let's see. If it is, in fact, that call, that will be the case.
Flag came after some arguments. It could just as well be against Birmingham for being too vocal.
Could be. It is.
Take a look. McNeil coming in.
You don't see that one block there on the corner.
No.
Here comes another one.
Here comes follow number 46. There's the block right there in the back.
Yep, that could very well have been flagged. The 41-yard punt, 8-yard return, plus 15-yard penalty, which makes it only an 18-yard net. And suddenly Houston is sitting over there on the Birmingham 37-yard line with a first down. 10:50 to play in the ball game. And Birmingham leading 19-17. And Kelly is going to put it up. Drills it. Bounces around and is finally controlled and caught by Vince Corville. And it's nearly a miracle to me that Corville's going to get up.
Corville's giving up. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that number 61, the center on the offensive line, Billy Kidd, came charging downfield after the pass was thrown to give him some help. He gets a good block here. Now watch Corville make the catch. Now there's 61. You see him coming from behind the screen, at the top of the screen. He comes all the way down, and right there, he just lays out 2 people. Number 34, Robert Gentry, was one of them.
Second down and 1 for the Gamblers. And it's fake, beautiful fake, and thrown and missed. He had Johnson. He had to touch the ball to him, and Jimmy could not get the ball to Richard in time. He really had it. His fake to Harrell fooled me for a moment, and about half of the Stallions.
Very excellent play-action fake. When he came out to throw the ball, it looked like he anticipated Johnson turning it up the field more, and Johnson flattened his pass route across.
Now Rowe comes back in along with Kelly, and they take out a couple of the defensive backs.
Anticipating the run.
Third down and 1. Fowler is in. And he's got it.
And he got the first down.
I don't think he made it. Bill Rowe out of Colorado. He was a mighty man in the goal line stand by Birmingham in the very first quarter, and he just came in with a big play here. And it brings up 4th down.
They anticipated correctly the run to Fowler. Bill Rowe reads it. He had about a 4-yard cushion off the line of scrimmage, standing behind his defensive line, read the play, pursued laterally to his right, and then just filled it with great aggression.
They're going for the field goal with Tony Fritsch from 46 yards. He is 8 out of 8 between 40 and 49. On the way. And it's good. So the field goal kickers are having a field day. Miller has kicked 4, one of them 57 yards. Fritsch responds from 46 yards, and Houston leads 20-19. And the kickoff by Corral is way back there, and Douglas is told by his colleagues, stay there. And they'll come out to the 20. Joe Cribbs, we're told, is dinged up some. And Joe wants to stay part of it. We're told that he is injured. I don't know the extent of it.
So they wanted to put a black jacket on him. They said there wasn't enough time.
It's first down, Birmingham from the 20. As Stout puts it in the air to Joel Coles, and Coles dives for the marker, and they'll put him out at the 30, and that should be a first down. So the jacket they're talking about probably is a flak jacket. Here's Tim.
Chief, Joe hurt his ribs way up high under his armpit. They're trying to put a jacket on him. He says, no, it's too late for that. We only have 8 minutes left. He wants to get back into the ball game, but the doctor's going to keep him out for a few minutes, try to check and see if some of the pain goes away. So they're holding him right now. We don't know if he's going to go back or not.
Okay, thanks, Timmy. 8.5 minutes to play in the game, and it's 20-19, Houston. Coles. And Joel picks up 2 to the 32. Stout in this half, 6 out of 8 and 64 yards, but in the third quarter, the Birmingham offense produced only 57 yards.
Everything seemed to be sputtering. In that third quarter, the game was really up for grabs, but no one took it. You see them working now on Cribbs. Looks like a bag full of ice. I doubt that he's going to play with a bag full of ice wrapped around the side.
No. Second and 8, flip drops. Hit by Caton as he throws. The pass is incomplete. He threw it in the general area of Paul Caruth, who's in the game replacing Joe Cribbs. So Pete Caton's presence is felt on that play. That's the second time that he has hit the Birmingham quarterback and forced a bad throw.
Of Eastern Illinois, he also played with the Winnipeg team up in Canada. 6'2", 240, and the number one man when it comes to rushing the passer.
Birmingham on the season 41% on third down conversions, but today against Houston they're only 2 out of 9. It's Caton again, but he got there a fraction too late, and Joey Jones makes the reception and picks up the first down at the 47.
Chris Stout getting up very slowly.
He took a whack.
We talk about wearing a team down. Well, it looks like the Houston Gamblers are attempting to wear down Cliff Stout. Pete Caton laying on the punishment. We'll take a look at the pass rush. Caton real strong, good quick move to the outside. That's Brownlow coming in from the other side. And like you said, when a big man gets moving, it's hard to stop, and he just slams into him.
Hey, watch your shit! Park 82!
Holds. It belted as he turned it inside. Jose Taylor was the man that hit him. And he got something out of it. He got about 3. Second down, 7 coming up. And the clock reads now 6.5 minutes. And Houston 20, Birmingham 19. I will not put Danny Miller out of range anymore, not after a 57-yarder. Cliff Stout got a nosebleed, maybe from that last whacking. Birmingham has 2 timeouts remaining. Houston 3. Stout goes to Jones behind him. Had him, too.
He had him. There was a nice gap in the coverage. We heard Joey Jones or Cliff Stout talking to Jimmy Smith early in the ball game, said the way they were playing this coverage, you have to run this top of this pattern almost like a hook. Joyce goes inside. Cliff Stout was anticipating that he'd hook it up shorter and come back to him. 3 wide receivers in the ball game now.
Stout has a lot of room. Pass is thrown to Jimmy Smith, and he can't hang on to it. Mitchell and Lewis were both there. Jim Smith's been pretty quiet in the second half.
He certainly has. The ball was there, catchable. Jim Smith not happy with himself. He knew he knew he should have had that pass.
Jimmy's caught 1 in the second half.
Yeah, that would have been a clutch 3rd down catch for this team. Kept this drive alive. Somebody on the field is hurt, Keith, in a black jersey.
One of the big guys. I think it's
Looks like Pete Caton. That is Caton.
Working on the left ankle or some part of the leg. So we've got a timeout for Pete Caton at 5:59 to play in the ball game, and Houston leading by a point. He's got it very, very high. Angles to the sidelines, and it's bouncing around, and it's going to get knocked down at the 1. A 49-yard punt, and it's down at the 1 by David Evans. So Bob Parsons does his thing.
David Evans did his, running down the field, getting behind the ball, placing himself between the ball and the goal line. He just let the ball roll all the way up to him, made sure he wasn't in the end zone, and then downed it.
Absolutely nothing more that a punter could do than that.
Perfect.
On his 35th birthday. Coming up tomorrow, coverage of Tampa Bay at Oakland and reports on the Denver-Memphis game. And next week, the semifinal. Right now, the Houston Gamblers working out of their own end zone. Ball snapped from the 1, leading by 1 point. Time getting short. Kelly throws it, and it's tipped, and it's incomplete. He caught the ball on the back.
Yep. Classic situation here, Keith. With 5:18 to play in the 4th period. Number 1 offense versus the number 1 defense, and defense has them backed up on the goal line. If they can stop them here, they're going to come away with great field position.
You know what I think?
And everything would be in Danny Miller's range.
What a great place for a quick kick. I'd get it out of there. I'd be terrified of a
who
safety.
can do it.
I'd be scared to death of a safety. Look at Kelly pumping and then throwing out of the end zone.
They're scared to drop back. Right now, they don't want to drop back for a deep pass pattern because he doesn't want to get hit for a safety and then have to punt the ball away to Birmingham. They're going for the quick passes. The defense is playing it tight. It's almost like the infield of a baseball team being in, expecting a bunt. Secondary is up tight. Linebackers are in close. They're looking for the quick pass, dumping it off to a wide receiver, trying to break a big game.
Here's where you need a Johnny Majors or somebody like that. Charlie Justice. Third down. Kelly goes sideline. Sanders. Bill Rowe is arguing about the mark, and Bill might have an argument worth carrying on, but he surrenders on it, being the kind of a fellow he is. And it's going to be a first down for the Houston Gamblers at the 11. Now let's take a look at Sanders. He almost hit the chalk. Rowe thought he did. Let's see.
And that's what he argues about. You see the catch right here on the sideline. You see the first down marker.
Did not.
He does not. Steps out of bounds after he picks up the first down.
Oh, the Gamblers get a little room to operate now, leading by 1 point, 5:09 to play. The winner goes on to the semifinals. Give it a Fowler, big hole for Todd. Good tough run, and he comes out to about the 23-yard line. So now they really got some room to work.
The offense of the Gamblers coming through, getting them out of a very, very bad position on the field. They have room to work with now. The clock is working to their advantage with a slim 1-point lead.
Talk to me about Kelly. Talk to me about Kelly, who's been out for 4 weeks. He's playing the best defensive team in the league. He's pinned up on his 1-yard line. On third down, he comes up with a big play.
I was told that he could have played last week. He took some snaps during the course of practice last week. He practiced both days this week. It's a system he's lived with for 2 years, Keith, so it's not a relearning process for him.
Blitz. Fumble is covered. Kelly was blitzing up the middle. Hits Fowler. Todd dropped it, but covers it on the 20.
Well, the defense is... If Birmingham is going to win this ball game at all, Keith, and come back, it's going to have to be on the efforts of the defensive unit. They've played a good football game this afternoon. The offensive team for Birmingham has been in position to score. They've come away with just field goals. They have to get touchdowns against this Gambler football team.
3:50 to play in the ball game. Winner goes home. I mean, the loser goes home. Kelly, off the hands, a little too high. Johnson couldn't pull it down. Billy Kidd, the center, picks up Kelly that time on the blitz.
See the pass being thrown here to Johnson. He goes up. It's just too high for Johnson to bring down, although it wasn't too high. He had his hands on it. He could have brought it down. It was a real tough catch, though.
You say that.
I say that. Anytime you touch it, you're supposed to bring it in. That's what they tell us wide receivers.
You did it. Third down and 13. Blitz is on again. Picked up. Kelly's pass. He is off the hand. Just off the hands of Scott McGee. And so they'll have to punt now with 3:36 to play in the ball game. And a 20-19 lead for Houston.
Well, right now it's going to turn all to the Birmingham offense. It's like a tennis match with the match being on your string and it's your serve, or you can win it. The offense will get the ball with just over 3 minutes to play. And what they need is a field goal to go ahead.
What Houston needs is a huge punt by Corral. The wind is at Frank's back. But Frank has not had the ball up today. Most of his punts have been low. Thad McFadden deep for Birmingham. Again, he didn't really nail it. McFadden handles it. Birmingham is on the Houston side of the field. First down at the Gamblers' 48. A 34-yard punt. With 3:26 to play in the game, Birmingham at the Houston 48. As you said, it is now in the hands of the Birmingham offense. If they don't produce anything in this possession, then they might lose. Paul Caruth is in the backfield. Cribbs has not come back yet after the rib injury. It's Caruth. I'll tell you, he's a tough kid. Sure, nothing fancy. He just goes out and gets 5 or 6.
He hits the holes very well. He hits them with strength. He keeps his body moving forward. The would-be tacklers bounce off of him.
He's carried it 3 times today. He's picked up 7, 8, and 7. Not a bad fella. You just keep giving it to him. Stop keeps it on a bootleg. And Cliff Stout is down to the 20. They are now certainly in Miller's range.
That was a superb call. You see Jack Pardee asking for a timeout for his defensive unit. But a superb call by Cliff Stout on this play. He hasn't run a bootleg all day. He gets everybody moving to the right. He keeps the ball. All it needs is one block by Jim Smith, and he would have been gone down the sideline. Jim comes up with a good swing for him. He cuts inside, picks up another 5 yards. Cliff Stout, carrying the ball 80 yards, 80 times in the regular season, was a 3rd leading rusher on this football team.
Houston with 2 timeouts remaining now, and Birmingham has 2 remaining. Time, 2 minutes and 18 seconds to play. Houston leading 20-19. The loser goes home, and who knows, perhaps into history. Danny Miller cranking up on the sideline.
Now, he said that the key to kicking 157 yards is not to overkick. Just relax. Go ahead and kick it the way you know how.
Yeah, but they're not going to get a call for a while because it's first down at the 20.
I said Cliff Stout was the 3rd leading rusher on this team. I made a mistake. He is the 2nd leading rusher on this team for the regular season. Carried the ball 80 times for 437 yards and 5 rushing touchdowns.
If Birmingham wins, the Stallions will be a home team next weekend. That's Caruth. And he gets 3. And Houston calls time again. Kika Diala coming up immediately. They are now within 34 yards of the uprights for Miller. If and when, they're at 2 minutes and 12 seconds. So what they've done here is Birmingham ran a play for a little over 2 yards. After the next play, the clock will be killed at the 2-minute warning, and then Houston will have 1 more timeout.
Wants this well-rested defensive unit out there to make the best effort possible to stop the Birmingham Stallions. Riley Dotch's play selection, I think, much more conservative with the exception of the great call on the rollout. I think he would be calling for what appears to be
35 trap is probably numbered for Coles, but it could be Caruth carrying.
That's the play he wants to call. I think he wants to be very conservative here, make sure that they do not lose the ball, stay within keep the ball down the center of the field in field goal range for Danny Miller. When a guy kicks one for you for 57 yards, you tend to have that kind of confidence that if it comes down to his shoelaces, you'll win the ball game.
And kill the clock. It is Coles. And he fumbles the football, and Houston can't get it. It goes out of bounds. There were 2 gamblers there with a chance to get it, and the confounded greasy thing wouldn't come to them.
It would not come to them, bounce out of bounds before anybody had possession of it, so it goes back to the team who last had possession, which is the Birmingham Stallions. You see Coles here running laterally. He just loses control of it. It's hit.
Hawkins.
Mike Hawkins has a chance. Lewis has a chance. But when Lewis went for it, he was already out of bounds. Oh, it's that Taylor, Jose Taylor, who reaches in and knocks the ball loose.
Coles is down around the 12, but when he lost the ball, and it keeps bouncing back upfield, and they wind up with very little on that play. In fact, they lost on that play. It's now 3rd down and a long 8.
Possible blitz.
For Smith, overthrown.
Yeah, Joey Jones.
Oh, you had him wide open.
Wide open at the 10-yard line for the 1st down.
And it is 2 minutes
and 99 seconds on the clock.
2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to play in the football game. The winner goes to the semifinals next week. The loser goes home. It is 4th down. Danny Miller will be center stage for about a 35-yard field goal try in just a moment. In playoff action, Miller is 10 for 10, including one game against Tampa Bay in which he had 5 field goals. It will go in the books as a 35-yarder, just outside the 25 and had the 10. Wind slightly in his face. It's up. It's good. Danny Miller, the man of the day for the Birmingham Stallions as he puts them back into the lead 22 to 20. But there's a minute, 56 seconds to play in the football game. Watch Raleigh. Heel by Miller, suffer if they hold on.
Buy him something, give him anything he wants. Well, the defense did its job in holding. Frank Corral's punt was not a great one.
Don't count out 12.
Fadden, decent return. The offense moving the ball down the field. The big play, of course, was Cliff Stout's bootleg and keeper, which brought them down inside the 20. Danny Miller, of course, you just saw him give Birmingham the lead.
They missed Verdun on these kick returns, though.
Oh, desperately. But Danny Miller, the last time he kicked off, put it into the end zone with no return.
Got the wind to work against him a little here, though. I don't think he'll get it in the end zone. Corville is in the middle for Houston. 1:56 to play. Low kick, bouncing around, and it makes Corville's job very difficult. And he takes a lick from Ken Kelly and goes down at the 10-yard line. And he's taken up, and Kelly really nailed him.
He sure did. He touched that football, Keith, before it even got to the end zone. Stopped it, so he had to return it. You see him hunched over going off the field because he took that blow. Watch him right here. The ball would have bounced all the way into the end zone, but he touched it right there with his hand. Now he's got to return it. And watch 56 Kelly just break through and just bounce the little man back in his tracks.
90 yards away. If you're looking for 6, they don't need 6. They can do it with 3. It's 22-20. And a minute 52 to play. And Kelly ready to pull the trigger.
Look at the cushion the secondary will be giving the receivers. One man rushing.
Penalty flag. Purifoy got him. But there's a penalty flag. Could be a hold.
Todd Fowler and Perko were going at it on the other side. I think they're going to...
Holding. Defense, number 69.
Whoa. Boy, that's something you hear called very seldom in today's football game. And that brings Raleigh Touch down to the line, to the end of the bench. First down.
Carries a first down with it. Ball is out at the 15.
It's not the kind of action you want at this juncture in the football game by your defensive lineman.
Minute 47 to play. Houston with one timeout. Kelly drills it. McGee catches up at the 26. That should be another first down. And the clock stops in the final 2 minutes of each half as the chains are moved. And Houston is going without a huddle.
10 yards in 12 seconds.
Tony Fritsch starts to get loose on the sideline. He's the place kicker, in case you don't know. Kelly looking and throws, and Johnson hit hard, holds on. Another Houston first down, and a minute 26 to play in the football game. There's Tony pacing around.
Tony Fritsch doesn't warm up too often. Matter of fact, the last time he got hurt was warming up doing jumping jacks.
Tony has kicked 2 today, from 20 and 46. Miller has kicked 5. But it's Fritz to get the next call if they can get it within his range. Fowler wide open, past the marker, out of bounds, first down, and it's now on the Birmingham side of the field. 49-yard line, and Kelly not getting greedy. He's taking what the defense is giving him, and the defense is, particularly the safeties, are playing center field.
He has 1 minute and 9 seconds on the clock. He started out with 1 minute and 52 seconds on this drive at the 10-yard line. In that amount of time, in those seconds, he has marched just over 40 yards, about 42 yards.
Kelly, 22 out of 36, 298 yards on the day. Kelly pumps it. They got him. They sack him. Malcolm Taylor, who played with the Gamblers last year. And Taylor knocks him down on the 43 of Houston.
Taylor gets credit for the sack with a pure strength move, Keith. Pocket all around Kelly. The clock's still ticking. 1 minute left to play in the ball game. And he just caved it in on him.
Gets it away to Harrell, who drops it. Sam didn't look at home, and the ball trickled off his fingers.
They were trying to set up the screen pass to Harrell. Mike Perkle came in, got
Kelly
a great hit on Kelly.
But he's all right. He's flexing his right knee, the injured one.
I thought for sure, Keith, one of the officials was going to throw a flag. It looked like the man going in motion was headed towards the line of scrimmage prematurely.
Kelly with the right knee hurt a little bit. Circumstances are these: 47 seconds to play. Houston at their own 43, and Birmingham leading by 2. It is third down and about 19. Kelly goes big with it for Sanders, and he can't get it. He got double coverage, and it was Chuck Clanton who came across David Evans, and a penalty flag thrown back at the line of scrimmage.
David Evans looked like he had a chance to pick this one off, Keith. He went up for it much like a receiver, but it was Chuck Clanton who came across.
Against Houston. Penalties against Houston because Kelly went over and kicked the flag.
Oh, no, maybe it's a yellow
not a flag. It's a towel.
It's a towel.
It's a towel. Somebody lost a yellow towel on the field.
One of the receivers or maybe the center. There you see Evans going up for it. And right there, he's going to bring it down, but Clanton comes across and knocks him away from the ball.
Woof.
Fourth down.
Not a bad football game. Fourth down. 40 seconds to play. He hides McNeil on the sidelines, and McNeil makes the catch, and that kills the clock at the Birmingham 36-yard line. Little Gerald McNeil got over there and hit himself and got away with it in front of David Evans.
Unbelievable.
They're getting closer. You've got 32 seconds. Kelly now for 319 yards in the ball game. Going to run with it, and does a hook slide at the 32. And now they can't kill the clock. They don't have a timeout. They've got to run a play to kill the clock. 17, 16, precious time ticking away. Going to be a long field goal try for Fritz. They've got to throw the ball out of bounds here and kill the clock, and Kelly does it. Whoa! He didn't get it out of bounds. He bounced it. But he did effect what he wanted to do, is kill the clock with 5 seconds to play in the ball game. Houston 20, Birmingham 22, and here comes the venerable veteran from Austria.
When we did a halftime feature on Tony Fritz, he told Tim Brandt one of the things he loves about being a kicker is to see all those guys jumping around, fighting to see who's going to win. And coming in the last second of a ball game, this little bitty kicker comes in, kicks it, hits the field goal, and wins it for his team. Now he has his opportunity.
Center stage. Absolutely. Birmingham spins the timeout. Depending where they mark the tee, it's got to be right around 49 yards.
Well, he said he could kick one 50 yards.
Never lift thy mouth overload thy foot.
Or anything else.
His long one of the year, 48 yards. He has kicked one today, 46. He has the wind. If there is help coming from the wind, it will be mostly at his back. If the wind moves the ball in any way, it will move it sort of right to left. Inside the stadium, the big flag is hanging almost limp. The small flags around the perimeter of the stadium are all standing out quite briskly. If you like pressure, you got a full meal of it right here. It's either the end of the season for them, or it's victory. It will be 49 yards. It just left. Here's Tim Brandt with Coach Raleigh Dodge.
Well, Raleigh, I just want your reaction first.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think my heart stopped there, but what a great game. My compliments to Houston, Jack Pardee, Jim Kelly. They played a great game. Our guys did. It was just a heck of a game, Tim.
Offense had the opportunities, could not force it in. Danny Miller, sensational day.
Well, he had out there. I'm so happy for him. He's had some rough sledding, but today he made up for it.
Later in the second half, it looked like he got away from those combination defenses we talked about and went a little bit more basic. Was that the way it was?
That's pretty much the way it was, Tim. And, you know, when you try to do the things you do well and hope that that's good enough, because Jim Kelly's a great quarterback.
Worked all year. You come back here next week.
Well, I hope so. Jack, congratulations.
All right, Keith, so that's the situation here. They went back to the basics. They won it.
Great ball game. Terrific finish. Wow. All right, one more look at Fritsch from 49 yards. And the ball starts left and stayed left. And he missed it.
And you see Raleigh Dodge watching it all the way. As the ball missed the uprights, the last seconds on the clock ticked off, and the game was over.
And the season is done for the Houston Gamblers, and they probably will not be in Houston next year. At least that seems the tone of things, but who's to know? The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Today's coverage of the Houston Gamblers Birmingham Stallions game produced by Ken Wolf, directed by Craig Janoff. Our technical director, Rich Gelber. Our associate director, Jeff Cohen. Our statistician, Dave Burnson. Our spotter, Todd Berry. Keith Jackson, Lynn Swan, and Tim Brandt from Birmingham. The United States Football League on ABC. Today's game brought to you by Armor All. It's science, but it works like magic. By Bud Light. The best has a taste all its own, satisfying but never filling. So ask for Bud Light. By Dodge, maker of Ram Tough Dodge trucks. At Dodge, we don't just talk tough, we prove it. And by Quick Estate Motor Oil in easy-to-pour, resealable plastic bottles. Birmingham 22 and Houston 20 as Danny Miller kicks 5 field goals.